Good morning. I hope you're having a good cakey day this morning. I'm going to take you through the Costing Master. This is a tutorial to show you exactly how I do a cake. This is a cake that I'll be doing for a gentleman, and this is the cake that he wants. It's an 8-inch 3-layer SMBC, kind of a rough frost with a bunch of flowers piled on top, piped flowers. So let's go ahead and take that cake and price it out. All right, so you're on your Costing Master. This is your fresh, clean copy. Now I put on my Costing Master 2 as the default, so every time I make a copy that 2 is there, because nothing takes me less than 2 hours to bake and decorate. So I put that there, but if you want to, you don't have to do that. You can just leave it at 0, the way it is when you got it, but just so that you know. So go down here to the little triangle under the Costing Master, make a copy, which is to duplicate it. You'll see it says Copy of Costing Master, and I'm going to call this one Rose Cake. You can call it by the name of the cake or the name of the customer, whichever you like. I like doing it by the name of the cake. Okay, so Mr. Ortiz is going to order this rose cake for his wife, and he wants 35 servings. That's a double click. Going to be due at the end of March. Again, a little click on the triangle. He's going to pay by credit card. He does not want any simple cupcakes, but he does want 1 dozen, so I'm going to put only 1, not 12. Detailed cupcakes, just meaning that they're filled. And since there's extra cupcakes and that extra piping on the flowers, I'm going to put 3.5 here. He wants it delivered, and it takes me about 45 minutes to get there and get back, so let's put 0.75 because that's 3/4 of an hour, and it's 15 miles there and 15 miles back, so to and fro that's 30 miles. Okay, all right, so I know now that I have to get 35 servings. Well, how the heck am I going to do that? What pans am I going to use? How many layers and whatnot? So this is where you go to the wonderful baking calculator. And I had already put it in here, but what I'm going to do is just take it off so that you can see how it works. So I'm thinking 35 is probably going to be a 6-inch round 3-layer, so I'm going to put 3 in here for layers, and then I'm going to put in the 8-inch another 3-layer, and look at that, gives me these 2 individually, which tells me up here the total is 35 servings. So that's exactly right. That's perfect. If I wasn't sure, I could have just fooled around with it, and maybe I decided I wanted a 5-inch first instead. Well, that would have only given me 32 servings. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the 6-inch. And when you're done and you don't want that one, go ahead and just put a 0 in it, just like I did again. So all your numbers will look nice and clean, and the rest of the spreadsheet will look nice and clean, and only what you need to know is going to be showing up. So he also needs his cupcakes, and he wanted 12 filled cupcakes. So this one is, you're going to put 12, and not 1 dozen, you're going to put 12, and it's a reminder up here for you. And so let's see what that does. That adds my batter, my filling, and my frosting. So everything, if I'm going to do 3 layers, so I need 3 pans, so it tells me each pan gets 330 for the 6-incher and 587 for the 8-incher. If I were going to do 2 pans, because I had put a 2 here, it would have showed you, highlighted these, and likewise the same with 4. So whatever you put here, it's going to tell you, okay, this how many grams go in each actual pan. So now you go to, and you can do this for all your rounds, and you can do it for your squares. So this tells you for 47 total servings, you need this much for the batter for the cakes and this much for the cupcakes. And I have that separated out because what if he told me he wanted everything in yellow cake, raspberry filling, all the same. So I don't have to separate it out. But what if he had said, I want yellow cake and I want chocolate cupcakes? Well, this way you know, okay, the cupcakes is going to be 480. And the cakes themselves, which is a different flavor, is going to be $27.50. But in this case, it's all going to be the same. So I'm going to take this number, the total, $32.30, and go ahead and go back to the rose cake. And I'm going to put it under cake. Excuse me. this one right here, the number of grams needed for the entire order, which is 3230. Now, if it had been yellow cake and chocolate cupcakes, I would have put the cake number here, and I would have put here under cupcakes the cupcake number, and I think that was 840. But in this case, it's all cake and it's all filling and it's all the same, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's go find the frosting number that we need. Full frost, cake and cupcakes, I need 1780. 1780 grams. Fondant, I don't need any. This doesn't have to be fondant. It can be anything else you might be adding, like a drip or something like that. I find that I use so little drip that it hardly pays to even calculate that in. But if you're making a bunch of fondant characters or writing or something like that, you could put that in there. And the filling, let's go back and see how much filling it told me I needed. I need 941 on the filling, which is right here. So I'm going to put 941. Okay, so you've got 941 listed here. Now you're going to actually now put something into these yellow spaces, which are your recipe numbers. Now you do want to put the little hashtag in front of it, otherwise it won't find it and it won't calculate. But where do you find those? Well, those are right over here. So you'll go down to the lower right, and he wants a yellow cake, so that's number 2. Okay, so I'm going to put a number 2 over here. Tells me it makes 1,300 grams. I need 3,200 grams. The cost is $5.57. So that tells me I need 2.48 of that recipe in order to make enough batter for those cakes and cupcakes. So that's about 2.5 times a regular recipe. So simple. Now what I do is I use the Paprika app, and it has a great little easy simple scaling feature. You just put 2.48 in there or 2.5 and it'll calculate everything that you need for that recipe in 2.5 times. If you don't do that, you can just make 1 and then make 1.5 again and just calculate it yourself. Or maybe you have another app that works for you. So the frosting is going to be the same. I use this all the time, so I know it's number 32. Tells me I'm going to need 1.5 or 1.5 recipes. And the filling, I believe, is a 62, I think. Yes, fruit filling with any jam flavor. So number 62 is going to go here. Now remember the cardinal rule, never put anything into a square that is not yellow. Otherwise you risk messing up your formulas. If you do, you can always use this little back thing and hopefully recover that formula. I'm pretty sure that I put warnings on all these formulas, but there's maybe one cell off here and there that didn't have it, and if you have a problem, you just email me. I'll have it fixed for you in no time. Okay, so these are your costs down here. So now we're going to need also some other things, aren't we? We're going to need, it's a birthday cake, so I always give people birthday candles, which is kind of a nice little gesture. So I need 1 packet of birthday candles. I say I'm going to need 8 bubble straws. I'm going to need 1 8-inch cake board, 1 6-inch cake board, and I'm going to put it on a 12-inch drum. Maybe I'll do a 10-inch drum. And I don't think I need, oh yes, I do need a happy birthday topper. So I'm going to put that on there as well. It's not shown on the picture, but I decided to do that for him. And then I'm going to need a delivery box. And my cake boxes, I do have a 10-inch box, so I'm going to put one of those in there. So again, you have put all this stuff in already. And I've given it to you for what I have found it for on Amazon, so the prices aren't going to be too far from what you're getting it for. But once you get your prices, go ahead and just tweak these a little bit for what you're getting. So maybe you're spending $25 and you're doing better than me and you're getting 20 boxes. So you would just put a 20 there instead. So just be more accurate that way. Okay, now you've got all your ingredients, all your materials, all your demographic information. You go over here and now it's all basically done for you. This tells you how much each individual item cost. Now, if there was a special topper or, something that you ordered off Etsy that was $14, well, then you're going to put that there. Or anything else that, was special. And if there's something that's just not covered anywhere else on this, this is where you would put that cost, okay? Ignore these little numbers here. Those are just something I use for my own tracking. So this cake cost you $115 to make in terms of all your materials and what you paid yourself for labor. I paid myself labor $70. So if you want to make a 30% profit margin, which is $50, on top of what you paid yourself, you're going to ask $166 just for the cake now, because the cupcakes are down here as a per dozen charge. I feel like at this point in my career, I'm more in the 50 to 60% range, so I'm going to say $245. Okay? So that's a 52% margin. I'll make $129 on it when I quoted at $245, and it's $7 a slice per serving. Once in a while, if you forget to put the per serving, the number of servings here, oh, you know what? This should be 47 because we added those 12 cupcakes. So watch, that's going to change this. That's $5.21 per serving. So don't forget to add the cupcakes as a single, each one is a single serving into your per servings requirement. So that tells me it's $5.21 a serving, and I'm going to be making $129. Here's my cake quote. This is the summary. This is the cupcake quote because they're filled. They're 36 a dozen. This is the tax. This is what it's going to cost me to deliver it. So I'm going to tell him, Mr. Ortiz, that cake is going to cost you $335, and give him that quote. Maybe you're not so confident in that. You don't think you can get that. Whatever reason, go ahead back up to the yellow square and put more like a 40% margin. Maybe put like $199 up there. Okay, that's $285. Maybe that's more in your range. So you can play with it and figure out how you want to actually put that quote together. But you can play with it any way you want because, as I said, this is yellow. You can put any number you want and see how it comes out here in the green. But this is a general idea, a good chart for you to know how much your profit's going to be and what the profit margin's going to be. So now, okay, so I said what did I say, 245? Okay, I'm going to do 245. So I'm going to tell him, Mr. Ortiz, it's 335, and then he is going to go on to my order tracker. I'm going to just go ahead and put him at the bottom here, Mr. Ortiz. And I put, what did I say, 335? And then I'm going to put the cake date, due date. It's March 28th. He wants it at noon. The delivery location, I would put that in there. And then let me show you what else that you could put. So if you wanted to, and I do this, the main cake order, you would put the number of servings, the number of tiers, the proposed size. So for example, this was 6 and 8. The cake flavor, I'm not going to put it in here, but you could just put it in there. And there's no groom's cake because it's not a wedding. And I would put the number of cupcakes needed, which is 12. Their flavor, their filling, their frosting, their decor. Is delivery included? Yes. Special notes to myself? None necessarily. And he paid me right up front. Now I want you to watch this. When I put this number in here, 335, it's going to turn green for money because that means it's paid. What if he paid me 170? Okay, that tells me he still owes me 165. So then you know, okay, he's coming up on March 28th, and you've got him on the schedule. You know all the details, and it's a really great way to keep track of your orders. So I hope that helps you with everything in your costing master. Email me if you have any questions. Bye-bye.